I don't really have any doubt that virtual goods will become a $100 billion a year business. We've seen the same thing happen with, for example, mobile voice in the US. A lot of people probably didn't expect that would happen. It's now happened with texting. It certainly happened with internet ISP fees. So there's a number of examples. It's actually not that hard to get to $100 billion. What you need is 1 billion customers spending $8 a month. So we're well into now having billions of potential customers. And when something becomes important enough, they will indeed spend $8 a month on it. And if you think about what people spend money on, it's mostly to improve your social life. There's a minimum level of expense that people have for subsistence, and then pretty much everything above that is about possessions and style and other things that improve your social status. And this is just basically the way human culture operates. So it really shouldn't come as a big surprise to anybody that as soon as you create online social worlds where people can have style and status, be competitively successful, kind of be the alpha male, the alpha female, if you're going to create that opportunity, people are going to spend money on it if you let them do that. And they're going to spend a lot of money on it. And I remember when I started Digital Chocolate, there were a lot of jokes about how, back in, this is 6, 7 years ago, there were jokes about how some guy in Korea had spent $5,000 on avatar clothing, and everybody thought that was silly. Well, obviously, this is actually a very mainstream behavior. A lot of people making these jokes are investment bankers, probably, that spent a lot more money than that on a suit. Well, again, in real life, what does it cost to have that luxury car? What does it cost to have paintings or better clothing or all the other trappings of style and status? And yet, at the same time, somebody can still be a loser. Whereas you go online, particularly where you can have a completely fantasy world with a fictional and heroic identity, $5,000 is actually kind of a small price to pay to be king of that world. And that's accessible to a lot of regular people. And I first noticed this principle when I helped make a game back in 1996 called Meridian 59. And it was the first MMO that had a 3D graphics engine. And it was a totally hardcore role-playing game. And then we noticed that the players of this game were arranging to have virtual marriages in the game. And they would find the most prestigious avatar in the game and the biggest room in the dungeon, and they would invite all their avatar friends, and they'd have this ceremony and get married. And it had absolutely nothing to do with the game. And of course, after a while, other clans and guilds would attack the weddings, and there would be brawls and so on. So here they are, willing to have these wedding ceremonies. It was almost like a scene out of Monty Python. I mean, they're having these ceremonies despite the fact that it's actually interfering with their ability to advance in the game. And then the people behind the avatars started to get married in real life and have children. So there's really nothing more vital in the human condition and in the human experience to seek to increase your status, to increase your resources, to get to a point where you can be the alpha and find the alpha to mate with and reproduce and continue your family line. I mean, it's a really powerful human biological instinct. And here it was playing out in this hardcore role-playing game. And it occurred to me that, wow, people are really looking for love. And if they can look for it here and find it, then that's something really, really intriguing. So, of course, we've now seen a number of years go by and this expansion in virtual goods. So there's just now really no question about this enormous potential. And the way I get it to 100 billion mathematically, even though it was only $1 billion last year in the US, is it was $7 billion in China. And of course, over there in Asia, they built the mobile web first. That started with Docomo in Japan in 1999. The Koreans copied that. The Koreans invented the internet cafe. They got broadband into the home pretty fast. The Chinese started to copy what was going on in Korea. And here are these markets over in Asia where they are far more advanced in mobile web, microtransactions, virtual goods. And in China, it was a $7 billion market last year. Well, the Western world has about 8.5 times more gross domestic product. So if we had merely kept pace, we would already in the West have a $60 billion virtual goods market, not a $1 billion market. Again, we're talking last year. And then you had 7 in China, then you'd have Japan, then you'd have Korea. You add it all up, and probably by this year, the global total would be around 100 billion. We could already be there.